One Canadian study in 2022 found that 90 minutes after consumption for frequent users, their performance returned back to a baseline.
The cucumber accents the water in such a way that...
Hey y'all, what's up? It's Short and Stoned here, but if you're new, you can call me Kelly. I'm a Canna advocate, medical patient, and retired solventless foods entrepreneur. And on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the interesting research diving into long-term cannabis use and impaired driving. So this is a really important topic today, but let me get it perfectly clear. I do not condone consuming and driving any vehicles. But there is some exciting new research showing that long-term cannabis users are not as impaired as media and laws make them out to be. Research has started to challenge the old idea driving while high is the same as driving while drunk, and it is not. It is way more nuanced than that. And today we are going to be sparking up some new conversations, challenging old beliefs, and looking at the research behind cannabis use and impairment behind the wheel. Watch to the end. I got some interesting stuff pulled directly from research. When cannabis is consumed, it interacts with our body's naturally occurring endocannabinoid system. That's right. Did you know that we have a system to onboard our favorite plant? But particularly this area is also tasked with coordination, reaction time, and even reflexes. In short-term users, cannabis use can slow reaction times, and this can affect lane weaving, multitasking, and that is why most safety organizations still classify cannabis as an impairing substance. But here's the key I want you to walk away with. Tetrahydrocannabidiol behaves way differently than alcohol does. Blood cannabis levels don't directly match impairment the way blood alcohol levels do. You can have measurable amounts of tetrahydrocannabidiol in your system and not even be impaired, especially if you're a regular user. A recent study in 2023 from the University of Sydney and a 2022 NIH-funded meta-analysis both looked at this topic closely, and they found that long-term daily cannabis users showed less cognitive and motor impairment than consumers who use less frequently. They also found that tolerance plays a huge role in this. Regular users' brains adapt more quickly, reducing the immediate impacts of the plant use, like coordination and focus. These studies also agreed upon impairment when it is present is most prevalent 1 to 2 hours after consumption in heavy consumers compared to up to 4 hours in infrequent users. Again, that doesn't mean it's safe to drive right after consumption, but it means we're learning that impairment is not a one-size-fits-all in the cannabis space. But here's where this gets tricky. Most states, when they test for plant consumption in the field, is a blood saliva test. And THC can show up in someone's blood for days and days and weeks. So someone could have not even consumed that day, but still get dinged on these tests, proving they're vastly inaccurate. Unlike alcohol with a clear 0.08 blood alcohol percentage, there's no universal accurate number we can derive for in-field testing of cannabis consumption. Hey, any scientists or business people out there, here's something that needs to be invented and brought to life to help us all. But hey, I got some other fascinating research. In controlled driving simulations, occasional users showed much more noticeable lane deviations and braking times, whereas frequent users tend to self-regulate their speeds and follow at an appropriate distance, right? Showing smaller performance changes. One Canadian study in 2022 even found that 90 minutes after consumption for frequent users, their performance returned back to a baseline, whereas occasional users were still impaired. I think that is so fascinating. These findings suggest that tolerance affects both perception and motor control, though researchers still emphasize that no level of impairment is okay to drive. This new research is starting to urge policymakers to rethink their zero policy THC level laws. Because what are we going to say? Someone medicating with cannabis can't drive at all because they have it in their system, even though they may be stone sober? If impairment doesn't correlate to the amount that's in our bloodstream, we need better tools. We need better field sobriety tests to gauge impairment, motor skills, reaction times. This could make the system so much more fair for medical patients and keep our roads safer. There's still a lot we don't know. There's still so much research that needs to be done, but what is out there is promising and is hopeful. I love diving into the real research that is out there and the nuances that surround them. And remember, I do not condone consumption and driving at all, but I think it is super important and fascinating to have conversations around long-term cannabis users are not impacted 90 minutes after consuming to a point that they are at a baseline to drive and sober. Whoa! But again, these tests also yield that new time and infrequent users are impaired to the point that they are seeing differences on the road. So remember, if you are a new consumer or even just an infrequent user, please wait at least 2 hours before driving after consuming. Thanks for watching so much, guys. I hope you learned something new today. If you did, please make sure to throw it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions at all, please drop them in the comments down below. Let's keep the conversation going. I'm still a smaller creator, so I can comment back to literally every single one of you. So you should try it out. And hey, if you're new, please make sure to subscribe so we can keep hanging out together. Hit the bell icon so you never ever miss an upload. If you're curious about my type of content, my previous upload was a fun hobby day and trying a new cannabinoid. And my next upload will be taking an Eddie and talking about all the horror stories I read in October. I upload full-length YouTube videos every Friday and Saturday at 2 p.m. PST. And I upload 2 Thursdays a month on Patreon. The uncensored stuff I can't post here. And don't forget, 6 times a week I'm posting on my new Instagram page, so go check it out. So no matter how you're viewing, guess I'll be seeing you real soon. Peace! And if you didn't hear it today, I hope you know that I appreciate you. Bye!